NHL picks and predictions for Monday, December 22nd. Welcome to PuckTime on WagerTalk TV. Andrew, Prez, and Carmine with you guys. Smaller slate today as usual on Monday, and then a jam-packed, and I mean jam-packed slate on Tuesday. Look forward to breaking it all down. We got a great deal for you guys as well here today, going for the three of us at WagerTalk.com. But lots to get to, lots to discuss, and it was a pretty good weekend in the NHL. A lot of action. I'll tell you what, some of these teams, Carm, like your Buffalo Sabres, just won't go away. How about those Sabres?
How about those Sabres? A new era has started. Andrew, I'm actually really happy about it because it's not about just the fact that the team is winning. It's the fact that the team cleaned out all of management, the head office. They cleaned it all out. They got rid of the dry rot that's been there since 2014 or whatever, how long it's been since they made the playoffs. They bring in the guy who served at Columbus, who's made some very good trades. He's brought in some guys. Mark Bergevin, he brought in on Sunday as well too, and they're looking to make some trades. I'm hearing some rumors. Alex Tuck going to get moved. A couple trades possibly with Vancouver to bring in some guys who want to play. The insurance guy could be, the guy I say tries to sell me insurance, Connor Garland of Vancouver. He could end up in a Buffalo Sabres jersey, Andrew, after this trade freeze is over. But 1-1 in the NHL for me last night. 4% play on Ottawa was the winner. I had a first period over in the Sabres and in New Jersey game. Jack Hughes scored early in that one in his return to the lineup, but they couldn't get a second one. So a 1-1 night with a little bit of profit. I didn't really watch any sports at all last night, guys. I wasn't even on End Zone Live. Massive migraines yesterday. I was like a mushroom. I spent my whole day in the dark. But with that said, nobody cares. Let's bring in the Prez. Prez, how you doing, man?
With that said, nobody cares.
I even called you to see how you were doing.
Yes, you are. Yeah. And I thank you very much for it. It is, listen, it goes back to my accident of 2015, brain injury. I get these migraines, and when they come, they're absolutely horrible. And my wife just kind of left me alone in the bedroom. I kept the lights off, and every once in a while, I just check a score and stuff because I had a 5% play on the over in the Dallas game, which won. Dallas and
that almost didn't make it, Carl.
Yeah, I know. And the Chargers, and that was the only positive of my NHL. And this is why I say, I'd rather win the bulk of the plays than one specific play. I lose 3-4% plays and I win a 5% play. People who bought the fives and only the fives are happy, but I also have long-term clients and I wouldn't be happy. So with that said, Prez, you understand it.
Well, I lost my 5% play yesterday too, Carl. I went 3-2 yesterday and lost the 5% on the Baltimore Ravens. Let's move on.
Prez, okay, so we are going to move on. On today's show, we're going to cover all 4 games, guys. Prez is going to do, before he takes off to do his show, the Blues and the Lightning. Andrew and I will do Vancouver and Philadelphia, Seattle and Anaheim, Columbus and the LA Kings. We may have a same game parlay. We definitely do have a pod. And just as we go to the Prez here, we'll do a solo shot of the Prez. We have a promo going on, guys, where you can use PuckTime 20, and this is only for the next 48 hours, and you get $20 off a 7-day NHL all access package. And that's you can use that on this guy as well too, Prez.
PuckTime 20. What do we get?
You get $20 off a 7-day NHL all access package.
I'd buy 3 of mine. I wouldn't even buy one. I would buy me 3 times.
I probably would. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, all 3 times at the same time.
All right.
Okay. We ready to go?
And if they buy your 7-day all access package, they get one of these. Andrew? Do it.
Here we go, Prez. Bang.
Oh, Prez's pretzels. How long did that take? What does it say? I need my glasses.
Sometimes salty, but always twisted. The Prez.
Sometimes twisted and always salty feels like a better one. But thanks for that, Andrew. Look at you guys with graphics and images. I see the best betting show ever is making everyone else step up their game. That makes me happy.
I won't
Our
take
game
credit.
was already here. We have the best audience of all PuckTime shows.
Of course you do.
Some of it bleeds over into the other shows, but there's nothing better than the Pucksters on this show. Each and every day they tune in
Puck 'em, dude. Puck 'em.
And watch that. But with that said, Prez, Lightning 237, Blues 191, 6.5 is the number here. Blues off a surprising win against the Florida Panthers. If Florida was going to choke, they couldn't have done it the night before when I had to call Carolina as a pod play.
Brutal beat there.
Wow. 3-0 with like 6 to go, and they pull it out in overtime. You know, Carm, this line is fascinating. I'm just going to let you know I'm obviously on the same play that I'm always on, the under. But let's talk about the side for a second here. If you have to bet the side, I don't know how you could take Tampa Bay. This is a team that is just, I mean, yeah, sure, they beat Carolina 6-4 yesterday, and they played well. They held the puck. They outshot them. But other than that, they've lost 3 of 4. They've won 3 games in their last 10. 3 games in their last 10. Hard to bet at that team, and they're minus 230. Now, I understand the St. Louis Blues are not some juggernaut, but hey, they're better than the Tampa Bay Lightning in the last 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, 5 games, 10 games. Tampa Bay has at least won 5. St. Louis has at least won 5 of their last 10. You know, I look at this and I cannot make heads or tails on why Tampa Bay would be favored so much, but I just don't like the spot with St. Louis. And I do actually think the time might be right to start looking to bet on Tampa Bay. So I like Tampa Bay here because I think they're about to go on a run, but not at that number. And I'm not going to take the regulation bet either. It's just way too high, and I don't want to take St. Louis after that win. So I'm going to look to take the under here, guys. And it feels like every time I come on here, I give out the under. But hey, pat on my back. Every time I come on here, I win as well. You look at this under, and you know, this is one of those teams, both teams, where you see a lot of 1s and 2s. Florida, St. Louis just played Florida. Florida scored 2. Against the New York Rangers, St. Louis scored 1. The Rangers scored 2. Against Winnipeg, St. Louis scored 1. Winnipeg scored 0. Against Nashville, St. Louis scored 2. Against Chicago, Chicago scored 2. Nashville scored 2. Boston scored 2. And it's the same with Tampa Bay, 1s and 2s. I understand their last game was 6-4. Before that, they put up 1 against LA. They let in 2. They put up 2 against Florida. New York Islanders, they scored 2. Against Montreal, Montreal put up 1. Toronto put up 2. New York Islanders put up 2, and on and on and on and on. A lot of 1s and 2s when these teams play each other. There is a couple of 6s out there, but predominantly the line is 5.5. If 6s were all around, this would be a client play. I do not bet a lot of money on under 5.5, but I will take it. That's where we're going. It's the 1 and 2 angle, boys. Under for me.
Little 1-2. I like it, Prez. You know, you look at this one, and you know, obviously some of those losses for Tampa Bay came with Johansson in goal. They were missing Vasilevsky for a little part of it, but this is a team that you know, I want to say is a very good home team. They have proven to be it, but they were on a 4-game losing streak, and they're third. I think they have the third worst home record at 9-9.
9-9,
yeah, with only a -1 goal differential, but getting that win over Carolina, and I think Carolina is one of the one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, of course, and they're currently on top with the Red Wings right behind them. I have to believe getting that win over Carolina probably kickstarts them again for a couple days, at least before this Christmas break. I wouldn't lay 237. I'd probably look at regulation.
It's too high still.
This one, I just got to have a feeling that some of these teams, you look at teams like the Blues, Vancouver, Seattle, maybe even Columbus tonight, are ready to start that winter break, get home to their families. The ones that don't play tomorrow, get home and start that little Christmas break with their families for 4 days until they have to play again on Sunday. What do you got to promote?
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. What I wanted to tell you, because you and I talk about shows all the time, I want to promote a television show.
Okay.
I just finished season 2. Now, this show is the most not Lawrence show ever. It's called Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It is a female-driven show that most females would like. And yet here I find myself obsessed. I mean, I have not been so into a show in a long time. I mean, it's been a long, long time since I have liked a show this much. It's probably the best written show, dialogue-wise, maybe since Newsroom, maybe even better than Newsroom. It could be. It's a top 3 dialogue written show of all time. The main character, well, other than the fact that she is just delicious, is exceptional in every possible manner. Carm, I don't know if you've watched it, but I cannot recommend the show more.
No, I just started watching the other day. I watched this Fallout because I saw it was trending. And so I'm watching it, and it's season 2. I'm like, I don't understand any of this, but I didn't know it was season 2.
Oh, that's funny.
I restarted. So I started watching season 1 with Stacia, and we're
I would stop right now.
Understandable.
I would stop right now and go to Mrs. Maisel because, firstly, your wife will like it a lot more. Secondly, people in the chat room agree it was a great show. Carm, if you are not hooked within the first 10 minutes, I give up. That show's incredible. As far as what do I have to promote tonight, I have an NFL bet up for my clients. I went 3-2 yesterday, but I lost my 5%. It was on Baltimore. It wasn't my fault. Lamar Jackson got injured. They almost still got it done. I am absolutely rolling in NFL, even with losing my 5% yesterday. And guys, I am on an 11-2 totals run in the NFL, and it is a total tonight. So head over to WagerTalk, check that out. Take a look at Mrs. Maisel, exceptional show. Thanks for having me, guys. Lots of love, everybody. And if I don't see you guys again, which I won't, have a wonderful holiday. Yes, I saw Slow Horses season 1. It was slow is the key word. Yes, slow.
I like it. I like it. I like Slow Horses.
I didn't not like it. I thought it was okay. I just felt like it didn't deserve me to continue because it was just too damn slow. And the other thing is, it was a cliche. And that's the one thing about British detective shows. They're all cliches. How many old, badly dressed tweed curmudgeons do you need as a main character? Like, are we not past that trope?
Yeah. Did you watch the new episode of Landman?
I haven't watched any episodes of season 2. I wait till they all come out.
You're one of those.
But I did watch Now You See Me, Now You Don't last night.
Are you a binger, like a full-on, like how many episodes do you watch at once when you
dude, okay, so Mrs. Maisel, I binged 7 episodes the first day. 7, which is nuts.
All right.
I've got a buddy that will make fun of me for how much I'm on my phone all the time, but then he'll be like, yeah, I just started this show yesterday, and now I'm on season 5. And I'm like, okay, well, I get it. I'm on my phone a lot, but you just watched like 40 hours of TV. Like that's, like,
all right. Grab your box of pretzels.
Gotta go, boys.
Get out of here. All right. Best of luck to you.
There we go, Press. There we go. Had to put that out there on the close.
Oh, God.
And
this is what happens when you give a 57-year-old man like myself Chat GPT. I just start doing random stuff on
how
there.
much THC comes in those pretzels, Carm? What's the THC percentage?
Oh, I should have put the side of the box there. Yes. Not recommended serving size is 1.
Yeah.
You can never have more than 1 pretzel. Andrew, there's some weird lines tonight. We talk about Freaky Fridays and those big lines. Like every line tonight, with the exception of this game we're going to talk about right now, is in that 200 minus 200 range. And I think it's a little dangerous with those ones. But this is one, everyone kind of expected the Vancouver Canucks to just fall off, maybe start selling after the whole Quinn Hughes deal. But boom, lo and behold, they've won every game, I think, since. I think they had a perfect 4-0 road trip thus far. Minus 137 for Philadelphia. I'm seeing on Roto that Dan Vladar is confirmed as the goalie. Vancouver plus 113 here. Total sits here at 5.5. How are you playing this?
I mean, Carm, looking at my numbers here, like you've got some really good goaltenders playing overall today, but Thatcher Demko save percentage versus expected has been phenomenal. Like if he's the starter for them, it's been really good to see. But also sometimes I look at some of these advanced metrics for goaltenders and you can try and find a way to fade a certain goalie, right? There's certain metrics I look towards where I'm like, okay, this is very impressive for this goalie. But there's certain metrics I look towards for certain goaltenders, and you think, okay, maybe this goaltender is just overachieving. Maybe some of these numbers just can't be sustained and can't be maintained. I mean, right now, save percentage versus expected. Here, I'll give you an idea. So Jordan Binnington, save percentage versus expected percentage is minus 2.9%. For Thatcher Demko, it's plus 2.8%. I don't think the average would be like, give or take 0.6, 0.7, 0.5, whatever. So for Thatcher Demko to have a 2.8% in the positive, I think he's overachieving just a little bit here. And you look at Dan Vladar himself, he's 1.1% positive as far as that's concerned. His save percentage is still super good. And I have liked what I've seen out of him overall. So, and this number overall, as you mentioned, Carm, like I get it. The Vancouver Canucks are the Vancouver Canucks, so we can kind of understand why the number is what it is. But if there is a team today for us to fade and go against when it comes to a hot streak, even though I've told you I'm going to try and make it a habit in 2026 to not go against hot teams as much, because that's one thing that's gotten me in trouble this year. This could be a really good day to do it. Now, what I'm going to ask you, Carm, is do you think that during this streak, the Canucks have had impressive teams to go against? Or was it a Devils team still dealing with injuries? Was it a Bruins team that we expected to see defensive regression? Was it a Rangers team that overall has been god-awful at home at Madison Square Garden? And how about the New York Islanders? Maybe they'll start coming back down to earth again. So when you look at those 4 games, how many are we really impressed with? And if you also take a look now, just at this particular spot play, you have to think right now, their next game is until Saturday. You got to think, man, this is like the perfect example of positivity as far as, man, we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. We've got a pretty good job. We've won a handful of straight games. We lost our captain. We're looking pretty good. Liam Olgren has looked pretty good. Zeev Buyum has looked really good. But I think you've got a Flyers team that's now lost 3 of their last 4 games. This is a team that I'm interested in here. And I just think this spot is a good spot for we had a question talking in the chat about, whether or not you want to bet on home teams. Here's the deal, Carm. You've got one team here tonight that this is their last game until Saturday. One team, front half of a back-to-back. And you and I were talking backstage together. And you informed me about the goaltending situation. Sometimes these days, coaches like to go with their best goalie in the first game of the back-to-back, or sometimes like to go with their best goalie in the second half of back-to-back. I like to pretty much base my decision on what the coach is telling us. hey, we're putting the number one goalie out tonight. They want to win this one tonight. But the Flyers have a really good opportunity, Carm. They play the Vancouver Canucks and then the Chicago Blackhawks, two of the bottom feeders. I think it's a good opportunity. Why can't the Philadelphia Flyers go 2-0 in their next two games? Why can't they win both games here on a Monday and Tuesday night? Also for viewers in Canada, it is the prime Monday night hockey game as well tonight.
I hate the stupid prime hockey games. I'm sorry.
Switching.
We're never going to be sponsored by Amazon, so I'm not really worried about it. And they're not going to take it out on me anyways. We have so many Amazon boxes that arrive at our house. But with that said, Andrew, it's like, as far as your question of how impressed am I with the win streak, I get it. You can only bet that you can only play the teams they put in front of you, but from a pure analytics point of view, you look at this Vancouver 4-game win streak that they have, and they were on the wrong end of the analytics in the 3 of the 4 games, and the other one was pretty close. The 2-1 game against the Devils, 286 to 149 XG. The game against the Rangers, who can't seem to score goals on home ice to save their lives, 297 to 222. The game against the Islanders is the only one in which they had the XG on that one, 353 to 323. The Islanders, injuries to, of course, with Horvat and who else is missing? Palmieri. And then you look at their last one. They beat the Boston Bruins, who couldn't get out of their own way defensively, and they only created 1.82 of XG while scoring 4 goals. The fifth one, of course, was a shootout in which the Bruins missed all 7 shots in the shootout. 4.15 was the XG for the Boston Bruins. So I get it. A lot of people don't like XG, but sometimes you can look at it and say, okay, this team is really overperforming their numbers. At some point, there has to be a decline in it. And I think it could very well start tonight. So I'm willing to lay the 137 with the Philadelphia Flyers tonight.
Carm, how many people do you think are going to be all over the Canucks just based on how hot they're playing right now? Like, I'm curious. I know that some people might I'm looking at odds logic right now. I know that people say hockey's not really the sport that we necessarily have to look towards splits. Not really much of a split type of sport, but I'm curious to see what type of public money we will see come in. If we're talking about public dogs, do you think Vancouver will all of a sudden be a team people want to bet tonight because of the streak they're on?
No, I don't. Here's what I think is going to happen with Vancouver, regardless of what happens tonight. And I think Philadelphia is the right spot tonight. Doesn't mean they're going to win. It doesn't, just based on the fact that 3 of the 4 games that Vancouver has played, they've been on the wrong end of what should have been the final score, and yet they won. What is going to happen with Vancouver is going to be selling off pieces of their team. I know that is going to happen. What is it? Sherwood? He's going to be gone. This is all about the contracts. Vancouver is going to rebuild, Andrew. I have to believe they're going to rebuild. Connor Garland, who's, I think, becomes a restricted free agent at some point. So you've got to get him now before he becomes one. They're going to let him go because they're not going to re-sign him. The guy works. The guy scores some goals. I think at some point you're going to have to start playing against this Vancouver team. I'm going to do it tonight, but I'm also going to be looking at playing against this team again during the second half of the season or after the Christmas break, because I have to figure that this is a team that's going to finish in the bottom 3 or 4 in the Western Conference. So yeah, those are my thoughts on as far as the Vancouver Canucks go.
That's how I feel about, and I'm going to hold myself to this. Everybody in the chat, hold me to this, because yesterday I looked long and hard at taking the Avalanche on the money line or team total or whatever it was. Big matchup for them against Quinn Hughes and the Minnesota Wild. And I just couldn't get there, And again, it's like you need to find those teams you circle in the second half of the season that you're going to bet against. But also, there's nothing wrong with the keep it simple, stupid. Like, I love listening to the audience, and I love taking advice from you, Carm, and everybody else out there. We all share and want to win together. And somebody commented last week, Andrew, I love your thought process, love how you're handicapping. you're trying to complicate things too much. And then yesterday I see the Avalanche and I don't bet on them. It's like, Carm, I know some people that will look at the score sheet and be like, oh, okay, I'll take this team tonight. And I'm not taking the obvious plays sometimes. I'm trying to reinvent the wheel sometimes. And sometimes, like you said, the Canucks are going to trade off. The St. Louis Blues are going to trade off. Well, the value is still there. We have to fade some of these teams. And Habs Relic in here talking about this, and some other guys as well talking about it with the Rick Tocchet revenge factor. I don't know how much that really matters, but it is something kind of cool because he does know how those players play. So it certainly couldn't hurt as well. Guys, we have the flash 48-hour sale. PuckTime 20. That's PuckTime 20 is the promo code. $20 off any PuckTime panelist for a 7-day pass. I should probably add that in there at the bottom there, Carmen, of that.
Yeah, it's a 7-day pass. I'm like terrible. I keep telling you guys over and over again, Andrew, I'm terrible at promoting myself. But I look at some of the things that as we're nearing the end of the year, NHL, I love the way the season's going to finish off, and that it's been a good start at the very least. I don't want to call it a start because we're only 35 games into it. But even stuff like college football, I wasn't even aware of the fact that in the last 30 days of college football, I am 15-2, up 45 units, which is number one at WagerTalk amongst all people who do college football, and 6-1, I believe, with the bowl games in the playoff and the CFB playoffs. So a great start there, and some people have taken advantage of that $129 bowl package that is still available, and we'll see if we can keep that going. But with that said, Andrew, I'm going to make a prediction, and we're going to have to clip this prediction at some point. I say there's going to be a blockbuster deal between the Buffalo Sabres and the Vancouver Canucks. Going with the new management, new GM, new assistant GM that they have in Buffalo, and the supposed talent that just doesn't work in Buffalo. Here is what's going to happen, Andrew. I don't know who they're going to get in return. I can probably name a couple players. The Buffalo Sabres are going to move on from Owen Power. They're going to move on from Jack Quinn, who's a decent forward. I think he scored the other day. Both players will be making the trip to Vancouver and becoming part of the Canucks team. The Sabres are going to get Connor Garland, Sherwood. They have cap space, the Sabres, in order to cover these guys, and they may get someone else in return. I think it's a good deal for the Buffalo Sabres. A crazy deal, but one that's going to work. What do you think?
I like that, Carmen. I think that the Buffalo Sabres are in kind of a funny point right now because, this year might not be the year because they gave themselves a tough start and anything could happen. But next year, I'd watch out for the Buffalo Sabres with all the moves they're going to make. Carmen,
they're not looking for this year.
Yeah, a coaching bump can be a thing, but guess what? A general manager bump can be a thing as well. And I talked about this on the show last week. They weren't going to start making trades until Kevin Adams was fired because that once Kevin Adams started to rebuild, that rebuild wasn't going to involve him anyway, right? So any players that he traded for, he knew that they weren't going to be his players anyway. He was going to be gone. So now they made some trades, or now that they picked up new management, they can start making some moves now because typically that's what happens is you get rid of your GM and then the GM starts splashing around in the market. Because let's be honest, the quote unquote rebuild the Buffalo Sabres are going to do is much different than what the Canucks are going to have to do because the Sabres already have a ton of pieces. They almost just have to retool, but the Canucks are about to go into a full rebuild.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, the Sabres aren't going to make the moves to try and get into the playoffs this year because they're not deep enough to, they can make the playoffs. But at the end of the day, it is about the new management. The guy they had in there was absolutely horrible, made some huge mistakes with the team. The whole thing with Jack Eichel threw them for the loop. Tuck was good. They got a good return there, but it wasn't a fair return. Everything else was pretty much garbage in that deal for the Sabres, but this is a move, I think, for the future for them. And, we always use that analogy, guys. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, this was broke. They need to fix it. It's just like a team about 15 to 20 minutes south of my office here in Toronto that's broken, and they refuse to fix it. How embarrassing that this team with that payroll in Toronto, and I somehow turned this into a Toronto thing, but we'll get to Seattle and Anaheim in a second, that this team, they're just not playing for their coach anymore. And you can't blame the coach. How many coaches do you have to go through? Like Moses or Jesus himself is not going to come in and sit behind the bench and help him. Maybe Connor McJesus might be able to play for the team. The Leafs are in turmoil. They're going to miss the playoffs the way they're playing right now. I didn't think it was going to happen. It's going to happen. Andrew, let's talk some Ducks and Kraken. The Anaheim Ducks, 193, my favorite team for scoring goals. The Seattle Kraken, Raven Ron's favorite team, if he's around, plus 157. Total sits here at 6.5. Anaheim totals are always going to be 6.5. I had the totals at best bets on a Saturday night, and the Ducks and the Columbus Blue Jackets got it done. So I was pretty happy about that one. Where are you going with this one?
Carm, I had the Seattle Kraken on the weekend, and I can probably tell you there's been maybe 2 times all year that I've taken the Kraken. You're not going to catch me backing that team very much, but I kind of like that spot, and I was kind of, for about 1 minute, 2 minutes, debating this with Jesse Schul, that I thought that right now the San Jose Sharks are actually becoming overvalued. We'll see. They're a playoff team at this point, or at least competing for a playoff spot. But at this point, I was like, okay, you know what? This is a good number to get Seattle. Seattle got called out by their coach, and they were a team that just can't generate offense, right? That's kind of the biggest trouble with them, is they just cannot generate offense very well. Now, this is a team, though, with the Anaheim Ducks that we all know have very, very poor defensive metrics. Right? Like, Carm, when you look at last 5 games, last 10 games, whatever it is, the expected goals against, it's always extremely high when it comes to the Anaheim Ducks. Like, they're usually in the top 10, top 5, top 15 at the very least. So when I look at this game, especially being close to the holiday season as well, I think I'm looking towards the over. Seattle, they're actually top 10 in expected goals for in the last 10 games. And you look at their recent scores, this is a team that I've seen them play in some more competitive games, right? Like, they played the Avalanche. They played them tough. They put a couple goals on the board against them. That game against the Sharks, I was impressed with their offensive scoring, the way that they were able to create chances, the way they were able to neutralize the possession. I just felt like they looked like a better team in that one. But whenever I decided I'm going to fade the Ducks in any way or say anything about the other team, I just want to bet the over, Carm. That's all I want to do when it comes to them. Like, that game against the Jackets, that game was crazy from start to finish. But I see no reason why we can't see another one going on tonight. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, Carm. Let me just put it this way. Yeah, so this is the last game for both of the for the Ducks before the holiday break. Maybe they're already looking forward to it. Right? Maybe they're looking, saying, okay, this is our last game. A lot of guys in the chat were saying this as well. The last home game for some of these teams, we see some goals. Seattle, they play LA on Tuesday. And it's kind of hard to say, Carm, which one is the easier one at this point, because the Ducks are actually a pretty decent team this season. But if I'm Seattle, I kind of want to have this game where I'm well-rested, playing a poor defensive team, then having to be the second half of a back-to-back against an LA Kings team. So if you're the Seattle Kraken right now, Carm, which game would you say looks more winnable, tonight against the Ducks or tomorrow against the Kings? And so I think the Kraken score tonight, but I think they might struggle tomorrow. And I'll tell you what, I'll tell you right now, if the Kraken win tonight, then I'll be fading them tomorrow against the LA Kings, 100%. If they win tonight, especially, and if they lose tonight, we'll be looking at some type of play that can maybe have them get out to a good start, maybe a first period over or something like that against the Kings. But in an ideal world, we see the game go over, the Kraken put some goals on the board, and then we find a way to fade them tomorrow against the LA Kings. I love looking at this stuff, especially on the small slates on Monday, but especially going into a holiday break, right? Because you've got there's three teams that are playing today that also play tomorrow: the Flyers, the Kraken, and the Kings. Flyers play Canucks today, and tomorrow Chicago. Kraken today, LA tomorrow, and LA today, Columbus, and Seattle tomorrow. So those are interesting spots, Carm, to think about when you're doing the handicapping.
Yeah, Andrew, I want you to fill up your coffee because I need you to wake up when I say what I'm about to say to you in this one. I'm going to take Seattle to win this game, plus 157 in this one. Listen, I get it. I talk about when a team comes out of a long losing streak, I want to sort of double up with them. And maybe doubling up against an Anaheim team that plays higher scoring games, plays open ice games. I wouldn't want to take Seattle against a very, very strong defensive side, but that's not Anaheim. You look at some of the XG numbers that we talk about. The last game against Columbus, 364 to 305, 362 to 2.5 against the Stars, 365 to 305, Ducks and Rangers. They allowed 5.1 to the Devils. They allowed 3.5 to the Islanders. They allowed 6.46 to the Pittsburgh Penguins. So they give teams high danger chances. They give teams opportunities to score. When you're in a slump, you don't score. But they somehow found a way against a Sharks team that had been playing some of its best hockey on home ice. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if Seattle goes in and beats Anaheim. Their last 12 games, Seattle has only won 2 games. Both games came against California teams. They beat San Jose and they beat the LA Kings. So maybe it's something in the water in California. They still have water in California, I believe. Dan Alexander would let us know if he was our producer. But I'm going to go with Seattle plus 157. And then I'll segue into the next one while I wait for Andrew to come back. The LA Kings in Columbus. Boys, there is nothing in my tea this morning. I didn't spike it. I seem to like a lot of dogs on today's card, or at least in the last couple of games. But the Kings are 175 here. Columbus is plus 144. And I'm just going to write down a quick note here. This one, total sits here at 5.5. Here's the one thing about Columbus, and you don't see a lot of this stuff in the news because it isn't reported. They played one of their better games in losing to the Anaheim Ducks 4-3 in that one. Management has talked to the team. Management has talked to the players. The coaches have talked to the players because I think the players are kind of getting fed up. They've said they are going to make moves prior to the trade deadline to bring in to help shore up this team because the Eastern Conference right now is up for grabs. Playoff spots are up for grabs. This team wants to be in the playoffs, and with the right moves, they can. They do have some talent that they can move. They do have some players in the minor league system they can move. They do have some draft picks they can move. How vested they want to get in making those moves remains to be seen. But as a player, you want to know that your team cares, and that's why the Sabres weren't winning, because the team did not care. They bring in new management, and all of a sudden the team has won 6 in a row. I'm not saying Columbus is going to win 6 games in a row, but I think this is a good spot for Columbus to get a win against an LA Kings team that struggles at home and has been struggling at home. The Kings are much better on the road than they are at home. I don't think we can. I don't think you can dispute that at the moment. So with that said, guys, I am taking. You can let me know in chat if you think I'm absolutely nuts on this one. I am taking Columbus, and then I'll talk about this game again in the pod segment of this show that is coming up. But if you look at it, and I'm just going to bring up a quick number as far as the LA Kings go. The LA Kings at home are second last in the Western Conference. 4 wins, 10 losses, a -7 goal differential for this LA Kings team. That doesn't warm my heart. Also, the fact that they're coming back. This is their first game back from a 3-game East Coast trip that finished down in Florida, where they lost to the Panthers, but then did beat Tampa Bay 2-1. First game back after some travel. I think this is a good time to try and fade the Kings and cash a big money ticket with Columbus. Andrew?
Carm, when it comes down to it, I think this team has overachieved or underachieved all season long at this point. And, you talk about trades, Carm. I think this team is probably going to end up making some trades come postseason or after the new year is what I'm trying to say, not the postseason. But yeah, like this number here, opening up nearly minus 200, current 165, 170, depending on where you shop around. It seems like kind of a weird number for me. So again, this is one of those things, Carm. If you're going dog hunting today, this is one of those ones here where if the Kings lose today, I back them tomorrow. If they win today, I fade them tomorrow. That's kind of how I feel. This is one of those kind of sit back and watch games for me, because based on whatever I see from them today, I want to look. I think that this Kings team is going to go 1-1 in their 2 games over the next 2 days. So you have a chance, or you could do like the opposite way and take the dog tonight and then take the dog tomorrow as well. I think that at the very worst, Carm, they go 1-1 in this stretch. But as a Habs fan, a big trade that we saw over the weekend, Phil Deneau coming to the Montreal Canadiens after he played
returning back to the Canadiens.
Love it. And of course, because injuries just won't stop with the Canadiens, Jake Evans got a knee-on-knee injury. He's probably going to be out for the year. So you gain a center and you lose a center, which is horrible. Don't get me started on that, because I could go on with that all day. They're going to make a trade in the postseason, or why do I keep saying that? In the new year. They're going to make a trade in the new year. But I don't think right now their team is good enough to warrant this price. So I could definitely be with you on that as far as that number is concerned. My question is, Carm, why the hell are we seeing a 5.5 here as the number at some books? That's what I don't really get. The goaltending's been pretty good. The defense has been pretty good. But overall, I'm a little bit confused by the 5.5. Like, it almost makes you want to bet the under here. Is Columbus going to get some good goaltending as well? Are they going to maybe try and play a defensive brand of hockey tonight? Why are we seeing a 5.5 and not even a steady 6 here?
I'll tell you what, the goaltending advantage clearly goes to, I think, Columbus in this one. You've got Jet Greaves, who's projected to start in tonight's game, but what's his name? Darcy Comfer is injured, so it's going to be Anton Forsberg, at least for the next week or so tonight, and we'll see who starts tomorrow. So the goaltending advantage for me. I'm not a big Anton Forsberg fan. I've talked about it, and maybe it has to do with losing a few bets. He did have a good win last time out, but you look at his previous games, and he's allowed they've been losses, allowing 3 or more goals. I'm not a big fan of his. The Kings, I think, have to play better defense in front of them, and I think that's why you're seeing the total where it is. You sort of protect your goalie by playing more defense, and you sacrifice offense. So this is one of those ones where I honestly believe if Columbus gets to 3, they win the game. 3-1, 3-2. So we shall see, Andrew. But the goaltending advantage, Jet Greaves has been good on the season as a whole. He's going to have his ups and downs, of course, but give this team credit. I think Columbus, I'm going to keep an eye on Columbus over the next, not just tonight, of course, but over the last 4 or 5 games that you finish off sort of the year with and begin the new year with, and see if this team has a different jump in their step, and whether they are going to make the moves. If they bring in some reinforcements, I'm telling you, you can look at it right now. The Sabres have won 6 games in a row, and they're still not near a playoff spot. The playoffs are up for grabs in the Eastern Conference, with only a few teams right now, 2 or 3 teams sort of stamping their way right now. And even the Detroit Red Wings, let's go Red Wings. They're right there, Andrew, as well, too.
I keep waiting for this Red Wings team to regress, and they just haven't. So I don't know what's going on with that team. I don't know how many moves they're going to make. It's
because Johnny Detroit gave up his season tickets.
It is.
And the minute he left, the Detroit Red Wings started to win.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a talk with if the Wings make the playoffs. We're gonna put up a poster. Keep this man out of the building.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying
Johnny
he's
will get those nice
Johnny's not a
tickets.
mush. Johnny, I say it with all love in case you're watching this show from the Detroit office. But I get it. If you're a season ticket holder, do you want to continue to spend money if the team's not making the playoffs? I wouldn't. Right. So they're having a good season. They got their goaltending issues sorted out. Andrew, do you have a same game parlay for us?
Let's do it here, Carm. Let's rock and roll. We've got pretty good number here, plus 625 with this one here. Zegras to get 1 point, Michkov to get 1 point, and Michkov 2+ shots on goal. Minus 1.5 on the puck line for the Philadelphia Flyers takes us to plus 625. I also do think Travis Konechny could be a good guy to look towards as well, but I just like the value tonight with Michkov. Think he's going to do very well on that second line. Christian Dvorak out tonight does worry me a little bit here. He's such a great defensive forward for this team, so that could be a little bit of a problem. But new line mate potentially for Trevor Zegras, with some guys up there on the top. So you could be looking at a guy like Konechny or even a Michkov sliding up there. But I do think these guys could connect on the power play, or these guys just overall will be carrying their two lines offensively. So if I expect goals from them, I expect these two young players to do very, very well. Michkov and Zegras, and then, of course, 2 shots on goal for Michkov, minus 1.5 goals for the Flyers against the red-hot Vancouver Canucks. Who would have thought right now, Carm, the Canucks and the Sabres are red-hot at this point? Oh, here we go. IceX said he's expected back tonight. So that's worth looking at there. Okay. So maybe I'll add him in there, and maybe he could be worth a look. He's been really solid, IceX, for that team. Really solid for them.
Yeah. Who would have expected? So it's your question of I didn't expect it. I thought the Sabres were going to do what the Sabres normally do. Stink at the beginning of the year, start to win a bunch of games, take themselves out of a good draft position, and then miss the playoffs. It's like rinse and repeat for the last 12 years with this team, and I just don't get it. But somehow it's a light has been turned on, and maybe the Pagulas, the owners of this Sabres team, have seen a little bit of declining attendance, which is now happening also here in Toronto, but they don't care. This is a corporate town. They'll sell their seats. But in Buffalo, you need the fan base there. So they brought in the right guys. We'll see what happens with them. Clear the dry rot. Am I surprised that they've won the 6 in a row? 100%, Andrew. Sort of moving forward, when we talk about it. Who do the Sabres play, Andrew? That's just off the top of my head. I'm trying to find it. They play the red-hot Ottawa Senators next in Ottawa, which probably isn't a good thing for them, because I took Ottawa last night and they did exactly what I thought they were going to do, Andrew. They steamrolled in a win. Then the Sabres come home and play the Bruins. They have the St. Louis Blues, the Dallas Stars, Columbus, Vancouver, New York Rangers, Anaheim. Some winnable games for this team to make a push for the playoffs. We shall see. It would just warm the cockles of my heart if at the end of the season, the Buffalo Sabres miss the playoffs, but also finish ahead of the Toronto Maple Leafs, because that'll shut my friends up all summer long. What do you think, Andrew?
Carmen, I think we could do a whole show just about the Maple Leafs and their struggles. It has just been so awesome to see. It has been so awesome to see. I saw one Habs fan that was like, honestly, I don't even take pleasure in this. And I'm just like, dude, I take so much pleasure in this, because I remember the amount of times people said, well, we're bad every year in October. We're going to turn it around. Every year this team is bad in October. Okay, well, November has gone, and Nylander has not scored a goal since, November 26th, November 28th? Well, it's December 22nd. This team is not good. And guess what? Maybe Mitch Marner wasn't good in the playoffs, Carm, but they might not make the playoffs now for him to have been bad anyway. I bet you he's in Vegas, living it up, doing very good, and feeling pretty good about himself. So, but honestly though, Carm, as much as we can say they're not doing well, every other team got better. Like you said, the red hot Ottawa Senators, I feel like they're one of the teams to bet on right now. Yesterday, if I would have remembered it wasn't going to be Swayman in net, I wish I took them against the Bees. Like, there are some good opportunities to bet on this Ottawa Senators team. The Red Wings are playing better. My Habs are playing pretty good. You got the Lightning, and don't forget about the Panthers, the back-to-back Cup champions. So, and Carm, yes, you got a little bit of an evil side to you.
Yes, of course. And with that said, it is time for the pod play. Thank you, Lorenzo. I really appreciate that. I do. Sometimes you need a little that evil in you. My pod play, guys, I'm going to the last game I discussed. The Columbus Blue Jackets plus 150 goaltending advantage to Columbus. I think the team meeting helps this team. The players knowing that they're not being forgotten by management, that they're going to make a push for some players to get them into the playoffs. And the LA Kings returning home off a 3-game East Coast trip where they came from Florida. That is a long flight home as well, to cross country. Plus 150 here. I'm not an Anton Forsberg fan. And the interesting thing is, I played this game already, and the money is now coming in on Columbus. They are down to 135 at some books. 140 is our consensus number on the WagerTalk live lines and on Odds Logic. 134 at FanDuel and Circa. So with that said, guys, Columbus is getting some love. Maybe they knew it was going to be the pod play. Let's hit this pod play plus 150, boys.
All right, Carm, let's do it. Hopefully we can cash that same game parlay as well. And if not, guys, hopefully we can cash some of the props inside that as well. So, all right, Carm, let's do it. Let's have a great day. And we got a huge show in store for you guys tomorrow. Going to be a big show, a ton of games. And again, that promo code PuckTime20, PuckTime20, $20 off a 7-day pass for any of us here on PuckTime. And of course, it goes without saying that will only apply to days that there actually will be hockey played. So if there's no hockey played on Wednesday, you'll get moved on. So it'll be 7 days of days that we actually release hockey plays that your pass will work towards. Carm, I got 4% at NFL player prop going tonight. Number 1 at the website in WagerTalk with the player props close to plus 20 units. And we got a 2-pack of NHL plays. Looking forward to a great night, brother. How about yourself? Any closing thoughts? And if not, wrap it up for us.
Yeah, the lines are coming out for tomorrow. And as scary as it is, guys, I love that deal. PuckTime 20. There's 13 games tomorrow. This might be one of those Carmine plays the board games, because I'm looking at all 13 games. And I was looking at them last night without the lines and circled the ones that I did like and I thought offered value. And boom, I'm seeing the lines and I'm loving it. So I'm going to have a big card tomorrow. I'm going to have 2 plays on tonight's card. That'll be up right after the show. I wanted to make sure the write-ups were included with those plays before I sent them out to clients. No soccer today, passing on the card, but I will have some plays up during the week. Again, we appreciate you guys always tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button. For myself, Andrew McInnis, and our guest today, the Prez. This is Puck Time. We will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. with Don Buster and Brian Leonard.